back from my 17 days of traveling the country. Well, mostly the western part of it. Drove all the way out to Idaho, Montana, visited my sister. Well, really, we didn't. We just used her house the first night. Then we went to Montana, through Montana to South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, visited Mount Rushmore with my wife and daughter. And then we went to Nebraska, visited family there, and then we drove down. And then after a few days, we drove down to Colorado, visited family there, dropped my daughter off at the airport. She came home, had a bunch of stuff going on with her friends. So then we drove back down south to visit my grandparents again. They're getting up there. Their days well, I don't want to say numbered, but I think we're on the far end. So it's a little sad. But they're in great shape. I mean, considering they're both in their late 90s. But anyway, so we did some stuff in Denver for a bit with some other family members and headed back up here where I finally got to visit with my sister for about 5 minutes where she let us use her house again, but she was gone. And I woke her up before we left on the next day. And she came out, said hi, bye, and we were off. So that was that. Yeah, so there we go. We're back ready to get some more work done. Now, during that time, I did do some work. Oddly enough, the majority of the work I got done was while we were on the road. My wife was driving. I would pull out my computer and crank. So the two things I got done, or I think I got working pretty good, is I finally got my player pool generation going and my internal stats collection going on the Mongo database. The internal stats collection takes the base stats that I imported, which just get imported into a collection in a format that just can be read. It's just reading it straight from whatever the pages and pages of stuff I brought in from Excel sheets, and it just pulls them in. And then I basically built some of my skills, and I created an import that took all the skills I had developed and basically imported the stats from the imported stats into a flat structure in another table called player stats that it's actually player stat data or something like that. Not imported stat data, but just stat data. And it took the data that was actually in the skills and pulled that in. So only data that's used by the skills exists in my exists in my stat database collection. And then I took, in part of that process was to generate a player pool, which is to take all the skills and the stat and build the skills for all the players that have data that relates to those skills and put them into a collection where will actually be the source data for the game. So the game can go grab players from that player pool collection with their skills and everything identified, and it'll just pull them into the system. And so now when I can go on to the next step, which is generating data for the players. Okay, so it's going to generate. I got distracted by cars driving by. I don't know what. Squirrel. Squirrel. I don't know. I don't know if you ever saw Up. There was a dog in Up, and every time a squirrel would go by, he could talk because they put some kind of collar on him that let him talk. But he was distracted by squirrels, so of course he would say squirrel. And I don't know. If you know Up, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway. So as he's like, oh, he's back, all right. He's off the trails again. We were talking about one thing, and now there he is talking about squirrels and the movie Up. Yeah, whatever. I did get to play pickleball again while I was out. Twice we played pickleball. Really nice courts too. One was an indoor one where you rent the courts, and one was an outdoor courts that was really nice. It was like, we got out early, and it was 70 some degrees when we were playing. Really wasn't that bad, but we only played for an hour or so because it was supposed to get to 90s or even 100 maybe that day. So we were like, yeah, we're not going to be out here that long. But we played for a while. It was fun. And then the other place we played was in indoor courts. That was pretty good too. Those were nice courts. They only had 8, but we had a lot of people, and I didn't play as much because I was trying to let other people play. But A lot of the people who are playing were out of shape, and they kind of drifted off after the first 15, 20, 30 minutes. My wife and I played more because we were a little more used to it. But anyway, um, that said, vacation done. I got Playerpool done working. Yes, actually, it was stats that I was having trouble with. I got the Playerpool generating, but I needed a flat stats table, because that flat stats table is going to be where I keep importing all data, and eventually I'm going to build all skills from that, because I want to be able to generate. The whole point was to create my skills as they are now from the source, so that I knew which source points I needed, because I was pulling in boat tons of data, but I was only needing so many, and I haven't finished all the skills, so I'm going to import. I have to re-import them and create new data points for all of these guys with their skills. So next step after I get is to probably generate salary values or player values that are going to determine how teams are built. So, you know, your salary caps, what their base salaries are going to be for what's going to be used in the creation of teams and players. So part of this comes down to, what am I going to give players to start? You know, when they go in and create their account, the question is, am I going to have them just get players like every other game does? You just have a team, here's your team and 40 some players, and good luck. And yes, that's a way to go. Let you just get in there. But also it feels a little, I don't know, I'd kind of like to build a team for the players. Okay. Or walk through building the team with the players, so I can have some demos. Maybe like when they select their first player, it'll pop up a card, and that card I'll explain what all the parts of the card are. You know, what all the things that matter, what information that they're going to be reading from those cards at a point. But at the same time, they're building their team. It's basically drafting a team. Now, I want them to be able to draft. They can auto draft any part of the draft. They can just say, I would probably require, I hate doing it, but you got to kind of explain what's going on. I'd probably do an auto draft, allow them to pick their first few players, the ones that goes into their collection. Like maybe they get 3 or 4 players that go straight to their collection. And then every other player, they get their level 0. So these guys come in as level 1. And at that point, they'll be able to get other players eventually, and they add them to their team, and they add to their team players that play more, get more collection points, and eventually go into your team. So you may not collect every player in a league, and that's of a year. It'd be really hard. You'd have to have a lot of teams to build a collection of every player, which could be interesting. If you could pull it off, I'd be impressed. Because you'd have to have multiple teams. I mean, you wouldn't have to, but it could take a really long time to do it otherwise. Especially since, oh, by the way, another thing I worked on while I was on the road, my game design doc. I put a lot of stuff into my game design doc that I had slated to be done, and I had talked about it before, but now it's officially in a doc. That said, it's actually an addendum to my game design doc, because I had started my game design doc before I left, but it was on my server, so when I left, I didn't have that hard drive that had the original. So I had to create a whole new document. And really all the new one does is it just talks about all the features and what they do, what I'm planning to do with the game design doc. So I have that, which is nice, having have my game design doc ready to go. I'm going to need a drink, but I will show you what I did as soon as I get back. I got to go get a drink quick. Oh, overspin. Okay, I'm back. All right. Think we're good. Let's, I'm going to put my tags in again. I probably already have these tags set, but such is the way of it. I have to put them in again. I have a couple of things. So I created this tool. I don't know if I ever showed it to you before. It is called my YouTube Updater. I know, a terrible name on YouTube Stream Updater. Yeah, I know, great name. But what it does is allows me to update my live running stream in YouTube. Assuming, of course, I can remember how to start it. Run that. I think. Nope. What's it called? npm run. Build. I don't remember. I know. Well, gosh darn it. What's it called? Oh, that's right. I gotta start the back end thing. Oh, npm run backend. Is it backend? Oh, I see. Part of the problem is I'm in the wrong thing. I gotta go to backend. That's probably why it didn't work. cd, oops. cd backend. npm run def. There we go. Then I gotta do another one. You can say, why? There's probably tools out there. Well, my restream will do it, but it tags everything. It watermarks everything. Puts restream in my stuff, and I'm like, I don't want your thing in my thing. So I created one that does it myself. I want to write it. I want to update it so I can do an image, so I can do it without watermarking my image. And it'll make me log in to my Google. Wait, what? It's still being tested? I thought it was, I guess I haven't officially made it go live. I do trust it. I created it myself. Why wouldn't I trust it? I trust myself. All right. Alrighty, let's put in some tags. Because by the way, when I set tags in Restream doesn't do tags. I don't know, or at least not for YouTube. It'll do it for Twitch, but it won't do it for YouTube. I don't know why. I don't know. It's like, or maybe they fixed it, but it never used to. All right, so I got rid of the Restream tag. I'm at 171 subscribers, which I appreciate everybody who's backed me on this or subscribed. I would like to get to 200 on YouTube. So if you're a YouTuber, follow, like, and subscribe. If in fact you are, you like and, you want to subscribe. There is that. If you don't, that's fine too, I guess. Hurts my feelings, but I'm all right. I'll survive. Don't we all? Okay, I think we're good. Push that out of the way. All right. So this is, let's get, yeah, you need to go away too. This is my database. And these are some of the files, but I will close these up and I'll show you what my player pool data now looks like. It's going to have a lot more in it. It's kind of simplistic, so I only have a few skills. But these skills now, I have all the players. It says 1,000, but I think it rounds. It's like 1,400 players got put in, which is about how many if I had that were valid. There's a number that end up in the exceptions table because they don't have valid data. But you can see all the skills that were calculated for like this guy: speed, injury fatigue, pass defense. Now none of these. Ball security. Those are your basics. Now, tackle, escape, block, and pass defense only if you're a defender. Break tackle. The reason he's not is because I don't think he's only has 2 games played and started. And he hasn't done a lot. Players that don't have a position here, for whatever reason, I got to figure out how to identify them. Is probably a defender of some kind, but with only 2 games, he probably didn't do much. So there's no real stats for him. All right. So if I go into my player stats, here it is. Oh, is it the same guy? Pisa Tinoi Somoa. It is. That makes sense if it's reading them in order. I don't know how he ended up being the first person on my stuff, but you can see stats wise, he's got like nothing. His 2 games played were interesting that he started, but he did nothing. That's probably why he didn't start after 2 games. But there are other players. All right, so you have this player, Fred Taylor, who's a running back, pretty well known. Only played in 6 games, started 1, so he must have been at the edge of his career. But you can still see he had some receptions. And he has a few things. He has a rush of over 10 yards. He's got a few stats that came in. So he's got a little bit of stats to build off of. So it's probably this one, Fred Taylor. And you can see that he's got some ball security, hand skill. These are the stats that are going to be used by the system in calculating their salary. So I've got to go through now and figure out my logic. I have logic that takes all of their base skills and gives them a base salary, which will determine their base draft value. Now, I haven't decided how or what or when I'm going to create, what kind of contracts I'm going to generate for these guys. Because some of them, because contracts and such is where you start getting into a little bit of a gray area. There's a logic that I'm going to build that gives every player a base salary. And their base salary, I already have kind of a logic built already. And it was set up to be rounded 9 million or less because it was defined for a board game, but that's only because I scaled it. So whatever the value is, I can scale it at any range. So what I'll probably do is look at the NFL salary cap and try to build some players off the NFL salary cap, which would be 200 and blah, 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 $50 million or whatever they do. Hey, look, what is the deal with my camera? Holy moly. What is that? Why is my camera weird? Holy French fries. Batman, what is that? Hold on. My camera's all weirded out. Okie dokie. Mm-hmm. Well, I've got it kind of showing C920. It's the same one. All right, let's swap out here. I know I'm fiddle faddling with my camera. Hold on a sec. All right, I think I got it fixed. Hold on. Let's get me back in the screen though. Ah, I'm back. My camera's a little weird though, because it's not been adjusted since I got back here. All right. See, this is the problem with only having 170 subscribers. Or 190, depending on which one I'm looking at. That is a problem because nobody tells me when my camera's all fritzing out. Okay. It's, I think I have a camera now. Woohoo, yay me. All right, let's see what the wife wants. Oh, here's a fun thing. My wife and I, well, my kids actually upgraded their phone and to the new Galaxy S25 Plus. And boy, what a fiasco. Okay, so they give you 30 days to trade in your old phone, right? Well, when you go in, we did it through Costco and the Costco kiosk. And the problem is they're supposed to send, they sent the phones quick. Yeah, no problem. My kids are running around with their phones. But they did not send the trade-in boxes you're supposed to be able to get and go get them traded in. And so we called them, said, hey, these aren't arrived. You know, it's almost been 2 weeks. Oh, no, you need to wait 10 business days. So it was like 3 days before 3 days after we leave for our vacation. So we waited because one of my sons was staying behind. He was going to handle it. Never showed up. Mid next week, still not here. So we're talking about now we're up to 13, 14 business days. I call them up. Hey, we still don't have the ship back boxes for our trade-ins. Oh, the trade-ins were never processed. We're going to have to regenerate your labels and send them back to you. But since you're running out of time, you can go into the AT&T store and just do your trade-ins there using these label numbers. So I took the shipping label numbers they gave to me, and they said, take them to the store. So we took them. So my daughter, when she got back, takes them to the store. I don't know what to do with these. What are we supposed to do with these? I don't know what these label numbers are. We can't take these trade-ins. So we call them again. Oh, you got to go to blah, 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 blah. She went to 3 different stores, by the way. And she recorded them all, video. And I recorded all the calls on my phone. So we have recordings of all this crap. I might do a video on this whole nonsense, AT&T's trade-in nonsense. Anyway, so I think I might. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna put these videos out there, just kind of have the recordings, and just show what we went through, the nonsense we went through to get this done. We have 1 day left. They would not extend the trade-in deadline, even though it's their fault. They would not extend the trade-in deadline. We asked them multiple times. We need more time. Give us a trade-in. Oh no, we can't do that. But hey, if you hurry up and go get it done, we can do this. And you could take them into the store. And I called the store. We set it up for you. You should be able to take it in. So my wife and I today, 1 day left. Tomorrow is the last day. we're gonna take them into the store today with a prayer, a hope and a prayer. Thing is, Costco has a 30-day trade-in, 30-day? No, 90-day trade-in policy. So if they don't let us trade them in or they don't work, we're gonna return those stupid things. Just say, it's good, we're going back to Costco and we're not taking your phones. So, yeah, pretty crappy. Anyway, so then we looked online and they're saying, avoid Costco kiosk. I wish I had known that. My wife had done the same thing just a month earlier. Same exact upgrade. It went all smoothly. Everything went great. So we weren't like expecting problems. But of course, we had problems. Because such is the way of the world. The business doesn't care. So, yeah. So today at 1, which is about an hour and 15 or so, we're going to head out, go there. So let's get some work done. We're both going to go so that we can yell and throw a hissy fit. Yeah, I said hissy fit. I said it. I said hissy fit. We're going to, well, okay, we're hoping we don't have to. We're going to go in there. We'll start off calm, cool, and collected. But personally, my fuse is about this long. And as soon as we get there, it's going to be ready to go. The first thing they say better be, oh yeah, we got this on file. Let's take care of this for you. Anything other than that, I don't know what that is. Lighter on. What do you mean you don't know? We're going into the next phase of anger. What's cool is when I recorded their calls, it does prompt them. Say, hey, this call is going to be recorded. So they knew. So it's none of this recorded without knowledge. I told them, this call's being recorded. So as you screw me over, we're going to have all this. And it's going to make a great video. I'm hoping I can go viral with it. It's not going to help me any, I don't think, with my game. But hey, a viral video is a viral video. So... It's not going to be a great video as far as quality goes, because as you can see, this is the quality of my videos. This is it. This is all you get, man. So I am not I'm not a video master. I don't make a lot of great videos. I don't even know if I make any. That's such as the way it goes. But yeah. All right. So this is what I'm trying to do. Now I got to start figuring out the salary. So I want to give players something. So the logical game flow. Now I got to start creating the game flow, right? So as I get data in, I've got functionality for game plans and player playbooks. I got to start creating functionality for the actual player or roster management, right? And as you can see, or you may have noticed in my okay, so this is the React application, the website version of the app, the website version of the app, and it's pretty much the same as what I have. It's got actually a little bit more functionality at this moment than my. Actually, I don't know. There's some things that work on the Unity app better than this, but there's things here that work better than that. So I don't know. But one of the cool things, which I'm hoping to try to implement in Unity once I get going, is you don't see a lot of the icons on here, and that's because I'm using the actual buildings for icons, which is fine, but the way I'm doing it is kind of heavy-handed. I'm building these areas that have to track and follow the size of your screen. So you can see here I got the football field, and this is where the simulation page will load. And all it does is load up the streamer game and that. And so I got more on this on the Unity one. This page is better, except for this one actually has functionality that will start kind of the beginnings of the streamer game, which I gotta build. This is where the coach's HUD is, game plan, playbook. which is fine. But, oh, I guess I don't need that anymore. I had some problems I had to fix, so I still have this. Fun. Thought I had that fixed. Apparently not. So what that means is I have players, apparently it did not, there's a functionality in my code that's supposed to, whenever I create a new player, generate a game plan for them. And update. See, one of the things it's supposed to do is add a game plan when I do the create player. It did not. So that sucks. Well, teams have, wait. Let's go look at this. One of the things it's supposed to create teams for these guys. So let's see. Yeah, see, there's no game plan ID. The user's assigned. Great. I don't like this. I got to change the ID. The ID's got to change. Because, yeah, I don't like that. Shall I TM user 1 or something? TM counter user 1. Because it's got to be a counter number because the user can have multiple teams, theoretically. That's kind of how the collection process and a little bit of how the monetization is going to work in this. If you want to build your collection up, it's kind of like that's where you will have your opportunities because you can buy new teams. You can buy second, third, fourth, fifth teams and just play more, have more stuff going on. And you can run these teams separately. You can run different kinds of teams because you're only allowed one team to start. And so you got to decide what kind of team you wanted to run it in. You can have it run against PC. You can have it run against against AI players, or you can have one that's for leagues. You can have multiple ones for multiple leagues. You know, you can have them against other players. And maybe if you get to a certain level of success, you can maybe be rewarded with a new team or something. A playoff team, which I'm actually going to have these little events where I'll probably run like a playoffs over a weekend or something. Have playoff events for teams that have won a championship, or maybe you could just join a playoff event if you have a team with certain criteria. Once you've won or once you've done certain things, I'll have to decide what level of difficulty I want to make that be. I haven't decided what that's going to be yet, but I'll be adding features and stuff like that as I go. But the first things first: get the players, get them built, get them a starting team. So what I want to do is I'm thinking I've got to create a scenario where you have a draft option. So I got to figure out how best I want to do the draft. How do I lay out a draft page, which is basically going to be everybody in the player pool. And I don't know. So I have 1,400 players, and if I have leagues that have 32 times 45, I should have enough players. It's pretty much everybody for the first season. There will be more eventually. It'll be easier when we have more players. 32 times 45. Ooh, yep, that's pretty much all the players, 1,440. And if I, how many players did I get? How many players does it say? Oh, no, let's go look at, oh, wrong one. Did I do that? Did I do that yet? Let's see. Wait, do I have Football Simulator open twice? Oh, here it is. Okay. What's the third one? Oh, I got a lot of stuff open. I do. I can't help it. I've always got a lot of stuff open. And then I wonder why my computer's going, I'm dying here. I'm overheating. It's like, why? There's nothing that can't be because I'm putting too much crap on there, can it? As a matter of fact. And plus, I don't have any of my fans turned on. I should probably turn these on. Oh, I remember now. Just occurred to me. I had a USB cord here, and I was like, what does this go to? I just remembered. It's my other fan. I'm gonna do this without breaking stuff. Hopefully I won't break anything here. I can't touch anything other than these fans, because if I touch the cord at all, I will break my OBS, because my graphics card will disconnect. So just give me a moment here. Well, hopefully those two guys can help bring the temps down on my computer a little bit. I have a monitor here. Let's see what my current temperatures are. They're probably too high for... This doesn't update anyway. It talks about updating, but it doesn't. Okay, current temps, core. It says they're in the 70s. I'm hard pressed because it felt really hot. I'm hard pressed to believe that, but it does say it's in the 70s. I don't know. Unfortunately, that's just the cores, the CPU. My graphics cores don't really... They're supposed to have temperatures too, the GPU, but you can see that one's sitting at 16. I don't even know which one that is. That's the, that's the Intel. Okay, so that's... Assuming that stays good. But between that and these, I got to keep that down. I've had them get pretty high. So maybe I haven't totally taxed them out yet. They can get up to 100. That's just bad. All right. So anyway, let's see if I can get some stuff going here. So what I'm going to need to do is calculate. I can't do any drafting without salary. And what it's going to have to be is not a true draft, because a true draft, players don't come in with a salary, right? You have a negotiation factor. Now, I got to figure out the best way to do that, because I think in a lot of games they do draft and they come in with a. It'd be kind of cool. You have to navigate your. Maybe have some kind of contract negotiations with players. That'd be kind of cool. A lot of games don't do that. Let's see if I'm curious. When you draft players in a football management game, let's see here. In existing American football management games, such as front office football or others, are rookie contracts automatic, or is there features to Let's see if AI even knows the answer to this. That's probably automatic assignment. Most games simulate the NFL's post-2011 collective bargaining agreement, which introduced a fixed rookie wage scale. This means rookie contracts are predetermined by draft slot, with little to no negotiation involved. No negotiation feature. In front office football, for example, rookie contracts are not negotiated manually. The game assigns salaries and contract lengths based on draft round and pick number. This design choice reflects the real NFL system where all drafted rookies sign 4-year deals. First round picks may include a fifth-year team option. Salaries decrease with draft position from multi-million dollars at the top to near league minimum in later rounds. Okay. If rookie contracts are pretty standard in the NFL, why do some teams have trouble getting their rookies signed? Contract language disputes. While the salary and length are fixed, players and agents can negotiate or offset language, guarantee structures, and payment schedules. For example, the Bengals rookie Shamar Stewart held out because the team wanted the option to void future guarantees, something not included in previous first-round contracts they offered. Especially in the second round, there's growing tension over how much of the contract is guaranteed. When some second-round picks like Carson Schwessinger and Jaden Higgins received a full guaranteed deals, others began demanding the same, leading the wave of unsigned rookies. With college athletes now earning substantial money through the name, image, and likeness deals, some rookies feel less urgency to sign NFL contracts unless the terms are favorable. This has shifted leverage slightly toward players. I would love to build something in where it feels like some players hold out. You know, they can asking for full guaranteed. You know, it's like this is their salary, they're asking for full guaranteed, or ready to accept. Asking for half guarantee, or you know, some kind of a standard where you kind of have to negotiate with them, just something. It'd be kind of cool, I think, to kind of like, oh, this guy might be a problem. You gotta either give him guaranteed is kind of a problem, right? Or you get a 4-year guaranteed. That's a deal, right? Because it's like, okay, we're already getting paid less, especially like say in the later rounds, because you don't know what these guys are going to do, and you're guaranteeing them a 4-year contract. You may not pay them very much, but it's like, do you really want to give them 4 years of guarantee? Now, it may be less common to give them guarantees. So maybe a third-round pick guy wants to have a higher guarantee, and so there's going to be some nuance there. I'd kind of like to come up with something a little unique there. Shouldn't be that hard, right? Maybe it's random. Maybe I just say this guy wants blah, this guy wants blah. You know, and the higher they are, the more likely they're going to want, you know, some kind of guarantee. Because that's the kind of thing. Nil influence. With college athletes now earning substantial money through name, image, and likeness deals, some rookies feel less urgency to sign NFL contracts unless the terms are favorable. This has shifted leverage slightly towards players, especially high-profile ones. Some franchises have stricter internal policies on contract structures which can clash with player expectations. For instance, the Bengals' attempt to include voidable guarantees in Stewart's deal was a departure from their previous rookie contracts. Though rare, some players may hold out to re-enter the draft the following year if they strongly disagree with the terms. This is risky but has historical precedent. Bo Jackson in 1986. Holy moly. Holding out. Bo Jackson did it? I didn't know he did it. Bo Jackson was an amazing player, though. He could get away with it. A mini game. Oh, that's true. Player satisfaction, which player satisfaction would affect their morale, and morale is the is one of the driving factors on how well they play. Right? It's one of their boosts. Nil influence leverage mechanics for high profile rookies. Huh. Huh. I like this. I'm gonna keep. I like some of this. It's a good idea. I don't know if I want to stop players. I don't think I want to. Well, it would be kind of. I do like the idea of a guaranteed money slider, but maybe not so much as. I still think I'd want them to request it. Like they want this much guaranteed money. And you have to decide if you want to guarantee them, right? Because some players might not be that big of a deal. They're not going to have the same. Now, so there might be a slider, oh, we're going to guarantee X, Y, Z. But do you want to give it to them, or what would you rather give them? A slider's interesting, but I don't know if it might be some kind of a hybrid of how I want to run that. But that's an interesting idea. I was kind of thinking something to the effect of they want this and you can offer something else. You could say no, you'll guarantee less. But yeah, I like it. I mean, I like something like this. I don't know if it's going to be this, but we'll go put this in my notes. Just because every player that you pull in is going to want something, right? A trade, you get their contract for what it is. You trade, you get, they are what you are, they are. Players that but eventually you have to trade them, or you have to renegotiate their contract. So trades are easy. And well, if you can afford to, whatever the team wants. There was a game. What game was I playing? Oh yeah, I think it's a phone game. It's called Football Management GM, Football GM, something. And it's let me see. It's called. It's like I've tried all these games, and there's only a couple that I've even kind of sort of kept me interested. Retro Bowls, one kind of. Super Tiny Football, a little bit. It's very similar to Retro Bowl, but it's got a lot more paywalls. Sorry, VO. It's kind of hard for me to get on that bandwagon. Just too many paywalls. Big Win Football I really like, but it's dead. But there's one called... I want to say you... Is it you football? It's called... It must be you football GM. I will share my screen on this in a moment. If I... Oh, okay. All right, so let's show this. This game has some weird mechanics, and it's really hard. When you start off, it's a little clunky, to be honest. The game's a little clunky. It's hard to know what you're supposed to do or how to do it. So I'm really hoping I can come up with better guidance for people on what they need to do or how to do it. Maybe even an example of a trade negotiation or trend. But I'll show you. Let me see if I can find my screen here. Okay, here we go. Really? Okay, so this is the game. No, come on. Go away. Why are you open? Go away. Why is that? All right. Can you see it now? All right, there we go. So this is a player, right? So you can go to team. These are your players. They're all very generic looking, kind of boring, but whatever. I don't care about that right now. You got your roster. So you got players. These are the players that are either retiring. I didn't even know. Okay, that's cool. I didn't see that. So you got players that are going to retire. That's kind of nice of them to let you know in advance. It's great to be able to plan for retirement, but it's like, realistically, have you ever known players to retire? Some might retire mid-season, like maybe they get hurt, or maybe they just decided their heart's not in it. But players don't usually let you know, hey, this is my last season, I'm retiring. Doesn't happen, man. You may know that a player's getting old, and look at this guy, he's 40 and he's still under contract. These guys in their 30s are all kind of retiring, but this guy at 40, man, he is going wong. He's a punter, whatever. He's got a leg until he's 45. But anyway, that's kind of cool. They don't usually tell you who's leaving. So these guys, their contract is ending. So you got to decide if, and it says departures. Their contract is up. It should not mean they're departing. It just means there's a risk that they could depart, right? I don't know what pop means. See, here's another thing. I put my mouse over this. What the heck does that mean? Or even if I click on it with my finger, I don't know what that means. What does pop mean? Potential? All actions. So you can, okay, some of these things you have to pay for, by the way. Motivate, like if I click motivate, this one's got paywalls. See? Add motivations, 21 for $5. I have one motivation. They can give me one motivation. I can motivate a guy one time, and then I have to pay $5 to get 21 motivations. Paywalls. Crap. Either you can motivate or you can't. I mean, sorry. I think I would probably build things like motivation. Motivation is a thing, right? It's a morale or whatever. So what does negotiate do? Welcome to the negotiation screen. Here you can contract terms with your and use power to decrease salary demands. This is the salary demand and average cap hit per year for the contract length. This is where to plan cap space for this and future years. Now, honestly, there's some math there. I don't fully understand cap. I mean, I understand cap, but how you're affecting it with bonuses and all that stuff can be kind of tricky. From the bottom row, we can try to persuade the player further or send the offer. Yearly salary demand. So he wants 5.75 million to stick around. And he wants 4 years, 2 guaranteed. I guess. Spread bonus evenly. Negotiation power available. See, negotiation power available, 19 power. I'm guessing you have to pay to get more negotiation power, which is also dumb. I do like that it's got stuff like this, but do I want this guy? But look how boring this guy is. He's a dude, a yellow dude with a yellow face. I mean, he's very generic. Now, how much do I want to get my guys to be better looking than that? I want them to be a lot better looking than that, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to because I'm not an expert at that kind of thing, graphics. But we're not there yet, so I don't care. But these are the kind of screens that need to be kind of built, right? I need to build a negotiation screen, or I need to build something like this. I don't know if I'm going to have like negotiation power. Whatever. I'll have players that have certain effects and stuff. There's a lot of things going on here, whether or not I think these are all things that you can buy. What is this? Load bonus early. Does this change your... oh, okay. So by doing this, it affects your cap space, how much bonus you're doing. So if you do it later, your cap space later changes. If you do it evenly, it's really about where your bonus comes up, I guess. How much bonus is this guy getting? Length, offensive line. There's no bonus on here. It just says bonus cap. Total cap. I don't know, where's the bonus? So you can actually negotiate his contract. It's kind of cool. I just don't know where the bonus is. Contract demand, yearly salary. Oh, here we go. Yeah, but can you change these? So he wants $460 million yearly bonus. So I don't think you can negotiate the amount. Oh, your negotiation power drops the amount. That's interesting. Okay, I get it. So your negotiation drops the amount. I'm just trying to see how other people do this. So you can adjust the amount by strong willing them. you're gonna muscle them out. You know what it might be is when are players more likely to stay with a team? I'm thinking players that don't get a start are going to have, maybe you have a little bit more negotiation power, or I don't even want to say negotiation power because I don't want to steal. I don't want to steal the word because I'm thinking of doing it a different way. This is just, you have this. I don't even know where you get it. But what I'm thinking is you would earn a strength, maybe some kind of a contract position, negotiation position, or whatever, based on your team, right? Or the players' playtime, or maybe on their depth chart position. So if a player gets a lot of playtime, or maybe they get to handle the ball a lot, some players, like a starter who's not getting the ball very often, might be more likely to want to leave. Whereas a second stringer who gets a fair amount of time in game might be happy to stick around because they're getting to play, because they're seconds, they're lower team. Or maybe they're a player who's doing really well who wants to be moved up to a higher position, so you have a lower strength of negotiation. I don't want to give something that's going to be like available power and then you have to buy power, which is stupid. I'd be willing to bet money if you run out of power, it's going to offer the option to buy power, because this game is very it's got a lot of buy. And let's see what persuade does. I don't even know what that does. Let's click it. Persuade Raymond. Oh, it's a motivation. So I only have one motivation, so I got to use it somewhere. We are about to persuade Raymond. This will significantly decrease base salary demand of the player. So you're going to use these things that you have to spend money to get. Again, that's a money thing. I don't like that. I think I could see doing stuff with your persuade, or some way of using up, maybe you earn some kind of negotiation power, negotiation strength, contract strength, based on team success, what the player's been able to do, and what you can promise for future play. If you understand that kind of thing, you can say, okay, well, I would like to even do things like give them salary bonuses, offer salary bonuses. In other words, if you catch the ball X amount of times, it's really kind of a starter thing though, right? Because if a guy is not a starter, or if you manage to start, maybe if you're a starting player, that player can earn some extra money. So if you stay healthy for 6 games, if you're worried about a guy getting hurt, anything, you could just have all these little options to try to convince a player. And then you can have things like motivation, or how it affects your negotiation position. So if you say, okay, well, we'll give you this salary bonus if you sign. Like Persuade would maybe have all the options of salary bonuses that you can actually get. You have a signing bonus. You can have performance bonuses. You can have different blah, 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 blah. That will hopefully all add a little bit to the motivation of the player. And you can also say, what are the requirements of that? So the harder it is to hit those bonuses, the less it's going to have an effect. But also less risk to you. Like if you say you start one game, you're probably paying that bonus. But if you say you have to start 6 games, because, you two tend to be kind of injury prone, that might be fair to the player. Or you have to be healthy or available even for 6 whole games, so you're not out. Or you might even say, I need you to be available for at least 12 games of the season, because it would be, we're paying you this money. If you get it, then we'll add an extra, million to your salary, something like that. Especially a good player, you want him to be available, and you're hoping he stays healthy, kind of a roster bonus. So that kind of thing. That kind of thing might have more of an effect on a player who tends to have a lot of little niggling injuries. He had these kind of injuries this year. He had a sore ankle. He had the flu. He had all these low-grade injuries that kept him out of a game or didn't start or he was unavailable. And you're like, okay. All right. Anyway, there you go. There's what the heck? Oh, apparently I can't undo that when I'm using my phone. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of like some of the stuff this is doing. I don't know if I like the way it's doing it because a lot of what they do is by way of pay, and yeah, I'm not a fan of that. So I don't know, what is train? Premiums. You can't even train your players. Now, I don't know what that means because I'm sure you can still do some kind of practicing, but choose a new position. Oh, you could try to get the player to be ready for a different position. Yeah, that's dumb. I wouldn't pay. I wouldn't make you pay for that. That's not never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Sorry, man. That's messed up. So this is a different kind of training here. You can do these, I think. I don't even know, do they? Oh, maybe you can't. What are the boosts? Boost effects. Oh, is this another thing that you got to pay money for? Huh. So you can trade a player. Trading. Okay, so I checked trade. So this is a pay item also. All these actions are something paid. I don't even know if negotiate. I don't even know what you can do there. You can probably cut and negotiate without a problem. Do you want to add Nicholas Walker to the trade block? Players will be award. Oh, so trading, yeah, you can add them to trade block. I don't know. He's 81. I probably wouldn't want to do that. But depth chart effect, personality effect. I don't even know what do these do. Anything? Walker, starter. I don't know what any of these are. This whole page is non-effect. It's just visual. I don't know if I like pages that are only visual. There should be some kind of an effect of what happens if you click on it. That's the best way to minimize the number of pages you have. Pages that are just like random stuff. Pages that are just random stuff like this, where you can't click on anything, it's just boosts. It's just data. It's information that's maybe good to know, maybe a summary. It's like a summary page, but it's also like this, your history. It's just more stats, right? This guy hasn't done anything yet, but the page does nothing. You can't click on it. You can't get details on it. You can't see what's going on it. It's just a nothing page. It's just data. Now, yes, eventually you'll play some stuff and this will start having things and it'll be cool, I guess. But I feel like there should be something. I understand you need to have stats pages, which you can't have any effect on, right? It's history. But I don't know, why is boosts a thing? Stats. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. He's got nothing. I don't even know, what is he? What is this guy? Is run a running back? Is that what RB is? Kick return yards. Oh, by the way, I think I've lost every game on this. I've only played, what, 6 games? I don't know. I may have 1 win. This guy looks like he's a returner of some kind. What is his position? I don't know what R is. What does R mean? Returns. Yeah, he's a returner, which is weird. Kick returner. Okay. Style aggressive. So is he a good kick returner? I don't know. I mean, he's got 81 for his numbers. I would like to have things like his rank in the league on your stats. Something like that. So you can say, this is how many kick returns, how many yards, what his long is. No TDs, obviously. Fumbles. Punt returns. He actually returned a punt return back on week 3 and week 1. Those are some pretty decent returns, though, really. 33 and 54. Well, 54 is the total. Ow. Shoulder melting down. So this is his contract. Premium unlocks special game features and empowers you with awesome set of tools to rule the league. Yeah, see, I don't like that. I'm sorry. I know my game, it can't. I refuse to make a game that's going to block you from being able to do what you can do. I would like to be able to come up with a way to monetize. Right now, I'm leaning on the collectible and the visual things that can make the game more interesting. And having multiple teams that can contribute to those things. So you can have more than one team. What would premium be? If I was to have a premium version, what would a premium version of my game be? I don't want to block stuff. You're good. If there's a feature in the game that helps you to do things and perform in the game needs to support it as a natural flow of the game. Not, oh, hey, pay us dollars and we'll let you do some extra things that can change your... Because you're paying money to make yourself better, which means you are paying pay to win, right? That shouldn't be how the game runs. It's pay to win. And I'm not doing pay to win because pay to win is lame. Plus, I want to have um, a PC version, which is buy up front, so you can buy the game outright. So what is the PC version and the phone version going to have that's different? What I'm actually thinking is the phone version may just be an extension of the PC version. You, or you can have a phone version that only lets you play against the AI unless you buy the full version. The full version gives you PC access. Something like that. So you're buying extra might just be buying the use of having it on multiple devices. So you can buy teams, you can buy unlock it on other devices. There may be features on other versions, like I have right now. I'm thinking the Play Editor, if it's available, may only be available on the PC, because I think it's just not conducive to a phone. It's too complicated. There's too many intricate little click arounds that a finger is just going to struggle to do, especially if you're doing it on anything less than like a tablet. And so I want people to be able to do it with a mouse and something a little bit more formidable, if I even allow the Play Editor, which I probably will. I just don't know when. I have to get it optimized. So monetization right now is, I'd like to be able to give people a phone version, but again, allow them to play for free. One of the things I'd love to do is be able to offer an offline mode. That's going to come down the line, because I'm not sure how that's going to work, because my stuff is all built online. So what do that means I have to take all the functionality that's handling offline and bring it to online, which basically means I'm giving you another version of the app, the offline version of the app. I may have to have a version for offline mode only, which is a different version, same game-ish. But I don't know. I don't know how well I can connect that. I have to sync it and make sure your stuff online stays in sync with your different devices, and that's a lot of stuff, so I don't know. But the monetization is becoming a thing, because now I need to know what's going to be. So what features? Now, this GM game that I'm showing you here is probably the most GM-y version of a game. So you can even change the colors, the appearance of your player, but this is all about paying money, and I'm not doing that. There may be things I allow people to do, maybe kind of for visual effects that you can pay for. Maybe change up a guy because you're paying to change him up, uniforms and stuff like that. So anyway, there's not much you can do there. This game's got a few things that are okay. It's got some weird stuff, a lot of stat tracking, which is cool. Player attributes determine how well a player performs on off the field. Some attributes can be boosted by gear or coaching stuff. I don't even know where you get gear from. Let's go back to here. So the market, oh, this is the players you can go draft. Okay, so trading on this game is so weird. It's so hard to get the right. I mean, I get it. It's hard to probably figure out how a computer is going to validate, but I'm going to have to come up with some logic that tells a computer to make a decision on how it might improve their team by trading away. Now, if you want a really good player, like say you want to go trade for this dude, you know, he's 106. I don't even have a player on my team that's 106. My biggest player is 70-something. And that's because, again, these games are designed to give you a crap team to start, and they want you to play for X number of years, and they get better, and then eventually you can get better and better players, and then that's how you're going to eventually win. I'm not going to do that. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to give everybody teams, or let you build a team that's on par with anybody. Maybe you get lucky and draft a good team that can win the first year it goes in. Maybe. You're just up against everybody's even in the AI world. Um, and so hopefully, and if the AI is getting beat too much, I may have to tweak the AI because I really want, they shouldn't be getting beat all the time because you're playing with equal players and the game has to run. And it's a sim, so you're not going to be like controlling the quarterback and manipulating the weird effects of how the game plays. But it is still a game that, maybe somebody figures out one play works all the time. I will know. I will figure it out because I'm tracking how all these plays do. Which ones are breaking my game. And then it's not that I would tweak the play. I would probably try to figure out how to tweak the defenses to be a little bit more aware of what that play is doing so they're smarter. Just so that things can be better performant. Really, the way I'm hoping to design the game is it's not about the play so much as where the players are and how they effectively respond to certain things going on from whatever position they're at and the assignments they have. So theoretically, there would be defenses and offenses to counter each other because players are doing whatever they're doing, and better players will do better. Maybe the defensive players need to be tweaked a bit to become a little stronger, but that's going to affect everybody, not one specific team or players. So if I improve something about a player, it's going to be improving something about that group of players. If I'm finding wide receivers are all dropping the ball too often, I will tweak wide receivers. I don't care if you got a really crappy wide receiver on your team and he's dropping the ball. That may not change anything. You have a crappy wide receiver on your team. You need to drop him and go get a better receiver. But otherwise, if I'm seeing that on the whole, completions are just too low, nobody's getting anywhere, I will make the effort to adjust how receivers calculate. And I do notice, though, how this game is kind of building, and a lot of games do this. They assign a single value to a given player. So you got this defensive end who's a 106, and you got a center who's a 104, and it's probably relative to that position. Is a 104 center as good as a 106 defensive end? If they're both 104, is 1 or 2 points going to matter? I don't think so. But, okay, so when you bring in a player, the first time you add a player to a team, when they're not under standard contracts, like when you build up your team from the base route, every player is going to have contracts that are built off of their skills. Okay, so you're actually going to have, there's going to be a logic around how players have their salaries. It's not just about what they're currently being paid, but you can see here a 106 expects more money than a 104, but a center, being a center, expects less money than a running back or a wide receiver because, again, he's a center. He knows he's not as important. He's pretty important. But still, there's just the standard for that particular position is different. So what I'll probably have to do is build a standard for every salary. So these wide receivers based on blah have a range of blah, 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 blah based on their skills. And the same go with tackles and wide receiver and centers and defensive ends. And they're all going to have their number that's going to affect them. So certain players, though, will have values, like a defensive end can also be a linebacker sometimes, right? Because they're going to have certain skills built into their play. I want to be able to bring in all their positions as they were defined, and that's what they are. But you can move them, and it's not going to be a retrain them as linebacker thing. If you have a guy who has got certain skills, you could throw him in at linebacker. But there may be a negative for a short period of time while he adjusts to the new position. So maybe I'll have okay, so you put him in a linebacker, and it takes some time for him to learn that position. But maybe he's got really good skills and stats that will just be temporarily adjusted while he learns his new position. Some players might be highly intelligent, which will allow them to learn new positions quicker. Um, anyway, so that's kind of how I'm going with it. But this is just one game. This is the phone game that does stuff. It's a little weird. Like I said, a lot of these skills and stuff that you have on here don't really... I don't even know what this is. What is pass? Oh, this is the... every game does this now, right? This is like the normal... I don't even know what that is. What is that? I can't even do anything on here. What is this? Oh, so you have to do stuff to... This is the season pass. You get stuff for paying. I don't like... It's a gear plus 5 one season. I don't know. Academy player. What's that? A drafty? I don't know what that is. That's not stuff. Don't worry, my game's not going to have that. There's no academy. I don't know what the heck an academy is. I don't know. Oh, this is the game of the week. I do plan to have coaches, facilities. I don't know what the franchise. What is upgrading your franchise? I don't know what that is. What does that do? My franchise, reputation, fan base. So history, legends. Don't have any of those. I guess if you play enough, the stuff will start having things. Fan base. We only have 30,495 fans. That's nothing. That's not even enough to fill a stadium. It's like, your fan base sucks, man. What are you doing? You're in a small town, nowhere. Draft picks. So I pick 7th? Don't know. 26. Guess it depends on how you do. But then you got this store here. What does that do? All kinds of buy stuff. GM termination. Disable that. So you can be terminated. Nice. Special bundle. Oh, God. Bank boost. Give yourself money to get players to make yourself be able to buy more and do more. And yeah, pay to play. Pay to play. Not doing it. Not doing it. It's not going to be me. No pay to pay. That's dumb. Edit schemes. What are schemes? Oh, yeah. So this doesn't have a lot. Change offensive scheme, defensive schemes. Not a lot going on. There's not a lot of control here. In fact, you basically don't get to do anything. There's no game plan. Edit chart. Motivate. You get 1 motivation. Start. Special team. Roster. You don't really have any control over a lot of things in this game. I don't like it. My game's going to have a lot more control. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to have a lot more. I'm doing more than that. Mine's going to be so much better than you. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. That's the plan anyway. I'll be so much better. So I got... well, all right. So... be right back. So, each new season, I'm hoping here's what I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to put in 15 years or so of players. But when you've already got a league going, I can't make it easy to bring players in to the league, right? So, I mean, what I mean by that is I would like to introduce new players through off season, like a new season worth of players. Some players might be coming in through like waivers or some other way. So you can get a player who's got multiple seasons on him, right? So my waivers may not actually be waivered players. They may just be new players who are available to your league. So there could be some really good players on waivers, but they're also going to have salaries that are adjustable, that are set for them. And you may not have access to them because maybe your team's doing really good and your waiver position is like bottom, and you may not have a shot at them. Now, there may be a number of new players, 5 new players been assigned to waivers. Like every so often the player pool will grab 5 players and just throw them out there who aren't on teams yet. So the trick is going to be slow. If the next season, okay, so the second season and beyond, when you draft rookies. So I'm going to have to flatten some of the players that come into the league. Because if I want to introduce if I want all my players, this is my goal. I would love to have all my players be actual NFL players or actual professional players built from actual player stats. They won't be the actual player, but it will be they will be built from actual player stats. And so I think future seasons, I could probably just bring in the rookies from an additional season. So if someone manages to play out all the seasons I have rookies for, that could be a problem. I want to be able to put in 15 seasons or so to start, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to get the players from previous enough seasons to actually create an endless league for people. So even if I could get 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 seasons of players in there, I want leagues or careers to be able to keep going, but I got to have enough players to do that. Unless I start coming up with a logic to generate fake players data. And I don't want to do fake players. I want all the players to have a real thing. So I don't know how that's going to work. I could keep adding players. My goal is, like I said, have 15 seasons to start, which means I'll have 15 seasons of rookies to stick in the game. And then I'll just slowly introduce new other players as we go, as waivers or some other supplemental draft or supplemental whatever. I'm going to try to use mechanics of the NFL to introduce other players for each season. And that means you could end up with having the same player on a team. I haven't decided how I'm going to do this because I want to be able to introduce all the years of players for those 15 seasons. Well, a lot of those players are the same player, right? So each year I add them in, they become a player that's built on real stats. But I'll have to build in something that allows them to, I don't know, have some kind of because they'll have the same names. I'll have to decide. What I might do is if you try to bring the same player onto your team that you already have, like a previous season version of him, it'll say it'll be marked in some way. He'll be you'll have to release the other version of him. And you release him, other teams can get him. So you could be playing against the same player on another team. But it's a different card in your collection, because if you get a 2015 player and a 2014 player of the same name, your collection will have the 2015 and 2014 versions of him, and your level that you take that guy to. Okay, that was weird. That's my desk phone, which, by the way, doesn't have. I don't use it for anything, but it was a wireless caller. I was like, why is somebody calling me from a phone, from a wireless phone, on my desk phone, which nobody has my number to my. I don't give out my cell phone number to anybody except family and friends, right? So my home number, which used to be known by all my family and friends before, cell phones, because I've had the same number since forever. It's just, I use it for like all business transactions, banks and hospitals and all that kind of thing. And just websites, anything that I think I might get junk phone calls, that they might be one of those companies that likes to sell your information. And so we're going to have to find...
your dad and Lisa want to come by and pick up the stuff?
Yeah, that's fine.
So you want to wait?
We can wait. I mean, that's not going to make a big difference.
Okay. Are you guys out and about now? Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, we can wait then, yeah, so we're here. Yeah, okay, go away.
Okay, so anyway, I know I said I was going to get work done. Hey, I had to catch up, let you know what's going on in the world and the game I'm working on, and my current plans for things as we go forward. Now you can see I have an error going on my game plan here. And that's because the game plan didn't get created. In fact, I wasn't even creating teams. I got that fixed yesterday. So I'm creating a couple of different things. I'm actually breaking out my authentication service so that I could use it as a general service for my company. So the authentication service, if I have other games and products that use or websites or whatever, they can all use the same authentication service for people to log in. In order to do that, I need to break it out. I already have the functionality. So I've separated it, isolated it, so now that I can make calls to it from whatever gateway I want, and it'll provide the login and creation. And plus it creates an account for somebody who wants to, if they want to play in two different games, they can just play in the other game with their same login. So it'll connect them. Same basic theory of how I want to have. I'm going to eventually have, you can see on my account page here. See, I have these connect accounts. Same kind of thing. Like all of my business stuff will be connected to your account. So if you connect any of these accounts and log in, you'll have access to all the games on the system. Now, that's, of course, if you have the game and you've paid for it and bought it or whatever, if there's any setup. I got to change this because this is supposed to be a split screen where this stuff here is on the right, and then on the left is going to be all of your settings for the game, which I don't have out yet, but there's a number of things involved there. So, so I'm going to have this thing here be a field. So I downloaded, or I built an image. I'm going to show you. I think I have it here. Downloads. Something kind of like blah 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 blah. Where'd it go? Well, do I have it? Did I not download it? I'd be surprised if I didn't download it. Okay, let's go here. Oh, here it is. taking long to load. All my thumbnails had to be rebuilt, I guess. When you leave for 3 weeks. I don't even know what those are. Why aren't those loading up? I don't have any G. Well, it is Google. Oh, okay. Those are exactly what they look like. Okay, I thought I downloaded those. Apparently, no. I have some fantasy. Right. Wait, what was that? I know I'm distracted again. Sorry. Okay, there was a thing here that I thought was kind of cool and wanted to see it. Check out the size of this guy's practice helmet. His head looks like he's wearing a parachute. It's the Broncos, all right. I gotta love the Broncos, but it's still kind of funny. Some of these. Who the heck? Why is he? Very cartoony, and he's wearing a crown, a king. The Kings. There's a few. Somebody's been doing some Broncos stuff. Or not football, Bronco stuff, football stuff. Somebody else is doing football images. Hey, watch it, people. Only I can use AI for football stuff. Stop it. We are at that time of the season, though, right? Time of the year. Okay, so I was looking at Swan coaching images. These are kind of cool. These are some of the images I was looking at. But there's some definite flaws. This one's not too bad. This one makes a weird guy. Puts one of my players in, but he's like a baby. But I was looking at, I thought, where did I put them? Okay, so I just must not have downloaded them. But these are kind of the images I was looking at using for the settings, where I'm going to create images for the actual, the cityscape, right? So this is going to be the cityscape of the game. So if I would put this in, I would have a basic practice stadium here, and a basic football stadium with some practice stadiums and other things that go on in the background. And maybe you can build or upgrade and that kind of thing. So I don't know why I didn't download these. And then I'll put images down and have them be links. Oops, what did I do? And then I can actually have it before it's not icon driven. And I would like to avoid icon driven. Certain things can be icon, like the account page or something like that. But even that could theoretically not be. But you want people to be able to access their account stuff. All right, so I'm going to log off for now. We're getting ready to head out and go fix our phone problem. And then I will come back and probably actually try to get some work done. This is a whole talking session. It's catch-up time, refresh time. Let's get back to it. And next